I wanna go back and do it all over, but I can't go back, I know. Yes, you can. Time is a dimension, and we can fix everything. I'm going to discuss a channeling by Sam the Illusionist, dated 19 December. It was really in two major parts. One had to do with, are Anunnaki giants awakening or not? And the second part is on your ability to overcome three blockages, which I'll cover in a separate part. So let's begin with the Anunnaki giants. And I'll have some corollary evidence in support of Sam's channeling. I'm Billy. I'm here to help. And we're one team. Please allow me. So Sam, channel the Pleiadians. Today, 19 December 2022. We have 2 days to go until the 6th sun, so pay attention to space weather. Morning dew, Thor news, Dutch sense. So question was, are Anunnaki giants awakening or not? They are powerful and advanced race of extraterrestrial. That's the Anunnaki. Powerful and advanced race. Race, key word. We are the human race. They are the Anunnaki. So when they dropped in here off their planet Nibiru, Nibiru is a planet that was in the orbit of Sirius C, which ascended and has been making routine passes by Earth and other constellations for hundreds of thousands of years, is a good way to put it. So when they came in, when they fell at and Mount Hebron and these other places, they got a load of what was going on the planet, and they needed resources for Nibiru that are not found on that planet, because they exploited them all, combusted them all, and they have metallic needs for themselves and for their planet, copper and gold. And so they began, once they discovered what was going on here on Earth, the humans weren't capable, so they kind of upgraded the humans by intermixing their own genetics. They have a mastery of technology and elementals. Elementals are first density, water, fire, protons, neutrons, and electrons in chemicals to be able to do what's needed to be done. They were able to create these beings. So at a point, these large guys were a labor force now, working kind of with, above the humans for the Anunnaki to go mine metal and other components. I know they're very dependent upon nano gold, for example. So many people that you see, oh, I take a lot of nano gold. Really? Okay. That's an indicator of who the hell's telling you what from a spiritual standpoint. So on one timeline, these giants became self-aware and self-conscious. So please know that humans got here a different way. We were moved from Maldek. Our souls were moved from Maldek when that planet blew up. As O positive beings, Neanderthals who were afraid of fire. So the human track was being schooled up by the Elohim a 500,000 years ago. These guys came in the mix. So the Anunnaki that fell in met humans that were with a program. Neanderthals that had been taught things. So in creating these giants, it created a completely separate workforce to do what's needed to be done. So what I'd like to do before continuing with the story is try and use some other sources on the internet just to see about who these beings might be. So just for potential, I mean, this is off a BitChute, just with a search for Anunnaki giant, and you get these results. Here's some big guy standing outside Air Force One. Whether it's photoshopped, I don't know. This is northern Syria, and if you play this video, this big critter right here disappears into a hole, and that's supposedly a tank, and that looks believable. So these other things are related to the beings themselves. And here's some old Sumerian tablet looking rock to show them in action. So this is an old image of, you know, ancient astronaut theory, and here's a picture of the Babylonian National Guard Marduk as a prominent member of the Anunnaki. So just to cut to the quick, you're dealing with a guy who was probably in row 2 at Bush's funeral in December of 2018, because they control their own reincarnations. He was the son of, or the next generation down from Enlil and Enki, and he was given the keys to run the system of Earth that we are controlled by. But he is Anunnaki now. He is not an Anunnaki giant, just to distinguish. Okay, now here's where things are admittedly foggy, but I'm going to deduce that this is the same article that Marduk was in. Now here's a statue of Gilgamesh, and I'll put this as a link from ancientorigins.net. But as you go down, it gives measurements on Gilgamesh and the references to locations, but ultimately 16 to 18 feet tall. And there's a book of giants from the Dead Sea Scrolls, named several Nephilim giants as Ohia, Mawe, Hahya, and Gilgamesh. So there were fallen angels that came down, fell from Mount Hebron as well as into Ur, multiple drops. And the Nephilim were known to have been created from the Anunnaki. So you're dealing with Anunnaki giants. Now some were known to be bad. I mean, David had to knock one out. So I'm not going to speak to levels of anything. This is supposedly wrestling with this animal. Now you could interpret this a lot of different ways into what the agenda was with genetic manipulation. But there they are, reigning on Mount Hebron. And we're into the Bible and the book of Joshua. And that's all Anunnaki authored information. And the only way Yeshua and the Holy Family got involved is because they're Essene. They're like Aramaic. They're from the Essene quarter, and all the rest is Abrahamic, Anunnaki, running it their way. So let me get to one other thing. I'm sorry, I'm still on the same article. So, in terms of classes of humans that we need to relate to, use the term rich upper class of social prowess and dominance, royalty. You have the titans and the divas as a class, and then the commoners, just to use terms. So here it's saying that not only were the titans giants, but like the Anunnaki, they were an offspring of an earth goddess, Gaia, that's our mother's identity, and a sky deity, Uranus. So we're getting into mythology, but right back into the Bible and where they fit, and being put into darkness. So here's an image of Atlas, who's a titan, and he's allegedly punished to bear the heavens on his shoulders for all time. So that's a way of presenting information about these beings. Stand by. Okay, $15. I don't know if David beheaded Goliath after schwacking him, but somebody painted it. Okay, we'll try and get a little more real world here. There was an ancient civilization called Tartaria that was a part of the deluge, so it's underneath right now. But you're talking about obviously that part of the world, and you can see the size of the men that are there, just to show you that there's a class of people that we are looking at. Here's another just representative copy of perspective. Okay, so we've all seen copies of or pictures of big people before. That's a good 10 feet maybe. So there's an Afghani model. There's pictures of some huge thing coming out from below the ground in Kandahar as well. But we're dealing with a different case there because of the hatred and the lack of spirit. And I know I'm getting a little diverse as far as examples go, so I'm going to pull one back in to tighten it up. I found I found a clip that I was hoping to find. So call this turn of the 1900s. This is Japan, Imperial Japan. Look at the size of this guy. So I don't want to go into this whole thing because we're going to repeat it back and forth with different Anak. You're getting into Anunnaki. They're doing some okay, I'm kind of doing this. So he's saying that might be a different one. Okay. There you have biblical quotes. Okay, stand by. Okay, so I want to tear through some related stuff here. This is this is a TikTok video that I'm not going to bother playing, but you see the map of inner Earth, and there was a book that caught my attention called The Smoky God because of the obvious title. And so getting into it, it's like a real book, and the author is a guy named Willis George Emerson, and in 1908, and he describes the adventures of Olav Jansen, a Norwegian sailor who sailed with his father through an entrance to Earth's interior at the North Pole. So that's the allegation there. Now, what's really interesting about this particular guy, just to say it, there he is, and he was an American novelist, a Chicago newspaperman, lawyer, politician, and promoter who formed the North American Copper Company in Wyoming. He founded the town of Encampment, Wyoming. So that's vicinity Yellowstone and all that, but he was led to make discoveries, and it's been documented in that book. So here's the book. Interesting, they spell it the same way as Smoky Mountains in North Carolina. But if you look at this image, you know, it's an illustration, but it may represent the type of Anunnaki giants that we're referring to, because we're going to find out here in a minute the truth about where they are right now. So lastly, this is from Pinterest, and it talks about the antediluvians. It's got a biblical timeline of our favorite guys from Adam, but they're making note of age, durability and duration, and then the shrinking of the human body. And note that the diet is relevant, that these guys were primarily agricultural, and then flesh was permitted, and everybody shrank and had shorter lives because we're batteries. Okay, hang on. So to get back to Sam's channeling now, we're back, educated. Those big guys, the Anunnaki, on one timeline, they became awake and self-conscious. Maybe they were coached up. That's what I was getting to. You know, now they're walking the surface with humans and angels and compassion, clearly having an entitlement to make decisions, and having been created through a natural process, they gained self-awareness and self-consciousness. So in this window, they merge with the Garthans, inner Earth. And the Agarthans are a specialized social memory complex. They were beginning the fourth density, similar to humanity now. And under an agreement, they became a sub-species under the Agarthan SME. So the giants right now are on Team Agartha. And he wants to go out. Are you Agarthan? Stand by. Okay, so to finish up on the channeling. So we have an agreement now. We have Anunnaki giants. Are they awakening or not? The good news is they're down with the Agarthans, and they're positive. They're joined up, and they're a member of our team. So they want call them the creators, who wanted to take everything from Nibiru, manned by Lucifer. They are opposed to that. They like it here. They like the Agarthans. They like the collective down in inner Earth, and they're on our team. So isn't that great? They're just really tall people. So they join the Agarthans. Now, Ashtar fleet, and hang on to get this clear. Oh yeah, this is the game plan for them. This is like new stuff. So according to Ashtar fleet, that's above the surface but has awareness, these guys, the giants, are intended to join the positive forces of love and light, and they're going to move and enter Mars to be available to assist after the 21 December meeting with the Luciferian SME, because they're being given a chance. We've been told this already. All the bads are being given a chance to go to another place, so they're out of here, not to bother us anymore. They will likely say no. They'll try Yellowstone, but I guess these Anunnaki giants are going to be on our side to help resolve the problem. Because then once it's done, we can all go to New Earth and rise up. So that's the conclusion to answer that question on, are the Anunnaki giants awakening or not? And after all the evidence that you've been given at this presentation, go Google SAALM and Lord Marduk, just as a Google search. And you'll get a bunch of references that lead you to Kissinger and Marduk and compartmentation and Pine Gap, Australia, and scalar energy that's going to be gone so we can do it at the South Pole. We know it's coming. It's wonderful. So be prepared for it and don't be scared. Be full of love. It's almost, everything's going to change, guys. Everything that you ever knew, this crazy world we live in, is going to get so much better. So be a part of it. Wake up. Stop brushing with fluoride and stop eating meat day by day. Uh-oh. That was only one. He's a great rooster, though. Roger lives. He was dead. I schwacked him. And I broke him in half. And I was so distraught over what I had done, I couldn't live with myself. I laid hands on him, and the damn bird jumped up a good 3 minutes after. No moving. So, I trust in Source, because I felt so good when that thing jumped up. And I'm telling it to you because it happened. I'm not here to lie to anybody. Why would I? So that's where we're going, guys. The power that we've got in love, when Source connects up with you in deference, you're going to hear one of the problems that we have as a blockage is the inability to allow the Creator's will to be done, because you got to defer, like Eckhart Tolle. But I'll talk about that in the other video. Part 2. Peace.